when it comes to LA, a lot of the stuff that's being highlighted is the madness. But it was a peaceful protest. Of course, you see the numbers. So when you see numbers like that, of course, and you're not somebody's gonna act out, and a lot of people follow what they see. Just be in the midst of it. But I also feel like I do believe, that it's a possibility that there's people being sent in to cause madness, and not sent in, but maybe people going on their own accord to start shit, to make this shit look bad, to make the protest look bad. Because the majority of people are not freaking going crazy. If it was, it would be truly madness. But they're highlighting, the burned cars, all that shit. And I'm not in agreement to none of that shit. Right? We're not out here to destroy shit. But that's the majority. So that's just what it is. But the stance that everybody's taking, like, I think, like, how can you see that and not disagree with it? And if you don't disagree with it, it's just because it's not happening to you.
No, I think people don't really. I think a lot of people, what they read, they say the majority of times the ICE people are going in to take drug dealers, criminals, and then the protesters are trying to stop them from snatching them.
But that's not the truth. They're going into construction sites where people are working, restaurants, and just taking workers.
And that's where the discrepancy comes in. Everyone that I talked to about that had anything to say about the whole everything in LA going down, the majority of people were pro. And they were saying because that there is certain instances where the people, I forgot what state it was, that they were the police officers that came to do a raid because there was drugs and criminals kidnapping people, all kind of. They had a bunch of random shit, right? The police came. They tried to rush the fucking the home, and there was protesters trying to stop them from going in there and getting the fucking criminal dudes. And after they got them, they had a shit ton of drugs. They had people kidnapped underneath or some shit, minors or kids tied in shit that they saved. And
this was in California?
No, this was in some other state,
Oh,
Iowa or some shit. But it's but they highlighted it saying police officers, people in uniform trying to do their job and arrest criminals, and protesters are no, don't. We're because they thought it was ICE, they were trying to, but it's actually just regular police officers. So I understand that there's certain cases where people are just dumb, thinking that they don't really know what's going down, and they're just they're arguing because they think it's they're oh, this is ICE, these are Mexicans, we love Mexicans, but they're criminals. I think if you're in this country illegally and you're just trying to build a better life for your family, cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm in agreement with, because what I've been thinking about and realizing is people always say, yeah, they came into the country illegally, but from what I heard, that's a misdemeanor. I don't know how true that is. We might have to look that up, but that's a misdemeanor. If that's a misdemeanor, then we're really tripping off the wrong shit, because it's Trump's a freaking criminal. And if we're not letting no crime slide, then why are we letting the higher ups fucking slide? And especially when people don't really understand that this mass deportation shit doesn't make sense. It's not going to help us in any way. People don't want these jobs, like they say. If they remove the Mexicans, first of all, they're going to struggle to get people. But if they get people, the white man is not going to want the same wages as that Mexican, because he was making less. He's going to want more. And the employer, they don't want to pay. That's the whole point. So the idea of, oh, let's get rid of the Mexicans, or not just the Mexicans, the immigrants, and we're going to make more money, I think is dumb.
I don't know if that's the argument. I think people like if you talk to anyone who's pro like deportation, they all it's in their head it's they're going after criminals.
But like I said, if that's the thing, if we're going after criminals, then Trump's on the line too.
Yeah, but they're
And
going
then
after
when
criminals who are here illegally. That's the thing.
Nah, but we're going after
there's
all
a shit
crime.
ton of criminals
We're
here
going
already.
after all crime, and it has to be like like I forgot who said, but they said it should be reviewed on a case by case. Now I understand that shit, right? There's so many people to review case by case, but to take them out with no like, what do they call that? Due process, or what do they call that? But to take them out like that is just wrong. By force, and and especially because these dumbasses is making mistakes and taking U.S. citizens. That shit is crazy. And if that shit doesn't alarm the average American, like,
I wonder how many cases though. How many times has that happened?
it doesn't matter.
Or is it highlighted?
It's bad if it's even one.
Yeah, I know, but you're gonna get when you're doing shit like this, you're gonna get something bad. Like
I know, but that's why you're doing this shit wrong.
There's obviously
doing this
something
shit
wrong going.
And you never should send fucking Marines in or the National Guard in. People are saying that how come they didn't go that hard on the time where the white people stormed what is it called?
The Capitol.
Yeah. How come they didn't go that hard then?
It's because it was whites.
Every time every time it's people of color, whether it's black people or Mexicans. If this was anybody of a minority, especially the darker, the more alarming. So it's like Mexicans, and then the black people, I feel like get it the worst. But that's why we gotta be together, because it's like they're trying to make it a us versus them type shit.
It's yeah, I don't know. That one lady did die though, huh? Who got shot during the Capitol thing. Remember? They shot her ass. And I don't remember anybody having weapons or anything catching fire during that protest though. And it seemed like everybody was let in. The security was like, yeah, just come inside.
Yeah, but if it was that of colored people, it would have been more crazy.
They would have had AKs, huh? There would have been bodies. People would start shooting. But the only thing is that people from the hood would have been shooting back.
I don't know. That's why, to me, when I look at the whole shit, it's clearly wrong. And now I seen a clip of Trump saying that he kind of took a step back because he was saying that he's realizing that that deporting people that work for the farmers, and the farmers are becoming crippled because they don't have the people. And Trump said, we're going to have to do something about this. He said, we're not going to go hard on them anymore, because it turns out that the farmers have had employees that have been working for them for 15, 20 years, good workers, whatever, but they're illegals. And he's saying that, we're going to have to do something, like we can't continue to do that. So what are you saying? You're going back on your own agenda. So since you're going back on your own agenda, all these people who are pro-immigration, the president is going back on his own shit. That doesn't make any sense. And if you're going to go after crime, we go after all of it, including not just the people who can't defend themselves. That's defenseless. When you see people being stripped and shit, and a lot of time I was telling my mom, I'd be feeling guilty, because it's like, that's us. It's the same thing. When I view them, I'm like, shit, like we're lucky we're not in that situation anymore. That's how I'm like, but we could have damn well been there. So that's why I'm like, I can't just ignore that shit. I'm a U.S. citizen, but I can't ignore that shit. That's clearly wrong. And I feel like, I just don't see how you can see that and be like, yeah, still fuck it, take them.
Yeah, but
when you see them being stripped from their moms and shit, being stripped from the kid, like literally.
The people who every person who I've talked to, I'm telling you, it's just their mentality is like all these people that they're deporting are all criminals. In their head, they're all criminals, and there's no like middleman. Like there's no like in their head, they're not like, oh, their families are just hardworking, regular people that are just going to work, and then boom, they get snatched.
That's because they see that the crossing the border, that's enough. You came in the wrong way, but that's because they have no idea how hard it is to get over here. It's like you have no idea.
But
so when you have no idea, of course you're gonna say that. People think it's like as easy as let me sign up and wait a year or two. People wait years, decades, and still don't get in. You know, and especially like when you look at Mexico, that's filled with violence. You're telling me, okay, so like I think people have problems because they refuse to put themselves in that position, to think like, what if that was me? Right? What if you weren't born in the US? What if you were born in Mexico, right? And you were being terrorized and shit. You were scared. And not even just terrorized, you were just poor. And you see the stories and shit. You go to America, you start making money, right? You have no money, you have no land. How the hell are you gonna get a visa? You didn't even go to school. Because you didn't have that privilege. You started working as a young age, right? And you hear all these stories. As a man, you're not gonna cross that border? I don't give a fuck what happens to me. But if my kid can have a future, and how can we not admire that? Is it wrong? We shouldn't have to do that. Is it wrong to just do that? Yeah. We shouldn't have to do that. But that's what I'm saying. We have to find some type of process.
Yeah, I know.
And but that process, I don't know what it is.
People view it as like it's not the burden of that shouldn't fall on the U.S.
But the U.S. has been the same shit with everybody. When anybody in the world who's allies with fucking the U.S. or wants to become allies or has some U.S. sees some benefit in them, they get called Daddy U.S. And the U.S. always helps. They send money here, there, whatever, and it's just whatever. It's the same shit.
But like,
and it's not just like they're coming over here and sucking that shit dry. They're taking America down. They're bringing America up.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I don't understand.
That's the ironic shit.
You just need to vet the fuck out of them,
and then
to ensure they're good people.
You hear like the Charleston whites like they're not paying taxes, they're not doing all this shit. Get rid of them, right? Hose them down like they did us back in the day with the big hoses. I bet they, you know what I'm saying? And it's like that's the stupidest shit I ever heard.
That's because he's the
for your people were oppressed too, motherfucker. That we're the same shit. It's like oh, this shit's all happening again. And now it's not black, it's brown. And you hear all these stories that, oh, they're just gonna stop you and fucking take you? What the fuck? Like me? So because I'm a Mexican, right?
Yeah,
people see me, there's a lot of people who say, you look straight out of Mexico. So you're telling me if I seize me, they just gonna take me? I'm a US citizen. They're gonna violate my rights?
That shit don't matter no more.
That's the stupidest shit because that's how it's going to go. The government pushes and pushes and pushes and grabs whatever it can grab. And whatever we give it, the motherfuckers are going to keep taking.
It seems like there's no, when you put it like that, like, and you see them just snatching people, it's like they're asking for violence, huh? Like how you not have no,
that's what I'm saying.
Somebody in the higher up already knows we're going to get some blowback. 100%. It's because you're taking a bunch of motherfuckers, just snatching them. There's gonna be repercussions. Any person with a family member is gonna be pissed. You snatch somebody, especially when it comes to children.
And we're not just talking about like if they're criminals selling drugs, deport them,
kill them
straight up,
shoot them.
I have no problem with that. If they're out here causing crime and selling drugs, gang members, I don't give a fuck. Right? Because if you should be smart enough. If you're over here, you are lucky. So if you're doing some dumb shit, then yeah, deport them. I don't care. But if you're deporting people that the only crime they have is crossing that border, that shit's wrong. And especially they've been here for the past, who knows, 2 decades. And all of a sudden you're like, hey, take them back. And then especially being on land that used to be Mexico's. That shit's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. And it's just, it's pure racism in the face. And like me, I used to not be like, when it comes to Trump, I wasn't somebody like, I can't stand Trump or whatever. Like I was just like neutral with it. I didn't care. Right? He said some shit. I disagree with a lot of shit he says. Some of the shit he said sounded wise, but my stance on him now is like, I don't like him. I don't hate him because hate's strong, but I don't like him because that's an attack on the Mexican people, and that's why I feel disrespected as an American. I feel disrespected because it's like, and that's the same shit I said back in the day when I was 16 years old and I wanted to be a Marine. Thank God I never did that shit. Right? Because it's like, I can't die for a country that doesn't respect me and doesn't respect my color, like my skin tone, all because of my skin. Right? And the fact that I would die, and I love this country, straight up, USA, you know, shit. I like the same shit with the protests. The people get mad because they're waving Mexican flags, right? But it's because they don't understand it. They be like, "Oh, you love that country so much, then go back." But it's that flag is a symbol of pride. We're pride and not ashamed of who we are. That's really what it is. But I understand the way it looks. So you should wave both. If I was gonna protest, I'm waving both. You know, one that has half, just to symbol the Mexican side. I'm proud of where we come from, right? I'm proud of our people, whatever. And then the US side because I'm an American. It's America. This is here, you know? This is fucking home. I would wave both. And for the weird cases that people are burning US flags, don't do that shit. Don't do that shit. That's just stupid. And I know that's not the majority. There's freaking bad apples, but that's dumb. That makes shit look bad.
Yeah, and the stupid shit too about attacking police officers with rocks and shit. That's just dumb too. Throwing rocks. Remember the kids here, I think it was here in Michigan or somewhere, that they were throwing little kids, like 13, 16-year-old kids, throwing rocks on the freeway. Remember that?
Yeah.
And they got like 20 years or some shit like that as little kids. Like grown motherfuckers throwing rocks at police officers and shit.
Yeah, I'm not in agreement to that, right? But like you said, when you do shit like that, you're taking somebody's father away. Like, some people are just going to wild out.
But it seems like you don't get, like, if you're out there.
And that's wrong. I'll make that clear. It's wrong.
Peaceful protests don't get as much airtime.
Yeah. It's not highlighted.
It's not highlighted at all.
Right? You see the highlight, you see all the negatives.
Yeah.
That's all you see.
You go burn shit down, this shit will make world news.
And the reality is that because of those bad apples, just take it back to the police force, right? People say not all cops are bad. Right? Oh, give everybody a chance. The reality that's happened is there's peaceful protesters that are dealing with consequences because of the other bad apples that are fucking shit up. For the example, that one reporter, that Australian reporter that looked like she got straight aimed at when she was not even in a crowd of people, she was just reporting. Did you see that? And she got shot in the leg.
If it was fake or not.
No, it was real. She got shot in the leg, and they were telling her, there was not even a crowd. Homie aimed at her, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that shit doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that shit was funny. Because it's like, the dude was like, hey, take that camera away from my face. And just shot her in the leg. They were shooting rubber bullets or whatever, huh?
Yeah, people hitting them in the face and shit like that. People who were on the bridge. I seen on the bridge. Like, they're not even down here, right? You're shooting because they're a threat. Or they're becoming a threat. I understand if they're gathering and they're pressuring you or some shit like that and you want to defend yourself. But the reality is that I think a lot of these people are just scared. Like me, if I was a Marine, I wouldn't. When it comes to that, to fighting your own people, I wouldn't do it. Take me to jail. I'm all for defending this shit on other people's soil and shit. I'm all for that shit. But fighting, or even like if they said, hey, you're a Marine, you got to come here to whatever state in the United States. I don't care if it was for white people, black people, Japanese people, Indians. I'm not doing it. If U.S. citizens, no. Take me to jail.
What are they doing? What's the job for the Marines? Like, what they have them do? Just keep the peace, or what are they doing?
I'm not exactly sure what they're gonna do, but I know that they sent them. I haven't seen anything of like them on the field. I don't know if they're on standby. I'm not sure. but I know that they sent like 700 of them.
Marine sounds crazy, huh?
That's
Marines, that's like
killers, right?
war shit. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Because Marines are the motherfuckers who come first. Like first people go in and clear shit out.
Yeah,
and then
that's the wrong person for the job. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I know. That's like send Marines, the U.S. Marines. That's crazy. Them motherfuckers are crazy.
And
like,
there's been
skilled.
protests before, right? The Black Lives Matter shit like that happened. You know, there were several peaceful protests. There was some shit that, similar, right? There's going to be bad apples who cause shit, and then people are going to follow through because of whatever they're angry.
The destruction is so fucking...
or they're already angry, or somebody breaks the 7-Eleven like they did, and it's already open, and then people get tempted and they go in there. That's going to happen. Right? And people are going to get mad. Look at these hooligans. Look at the destruction and shit. But, I mean, the whole point of a protest is to get your attention. And it seems like if they could stop that, they would. Protesting is a right. But you're telling us we can't do it, or what the fuck? And
are you going to get shot in the face?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it seems like I don't understand how all this shit is anti-America. It's anti-Constitution. And people are like, yeah. And it's like, all these people are saying, they're saying, because it's not happening to you. And wait, these motherfuckers are going to keep pulling and pulling and pulling. And one day it's going to affect you. And when it does, it's going to be too late. And that's why I think, like, it doesn't make any sense. All this shit doesn't make any sense to me. And that's why, to me, it's like, we're lucky that we're not in that situation and shit. But, like, I'm never going to forget. I'm never going to forget.
If we would have stayed living in Cali, we would have been right there, huh?
We would have been right there. Shit, I would probably be in the protest.
I would have been in a bunker. I'd have started preparing for nuclear
because
war.
I just feel like that shit's crazy. And tomorrow, which is Saturday, what day is it? The 14th, tomorrow. Apparently, everywhere in the U.S. is going to protest. Like the mass, because tomorrow I think Trump is doing something for his birthday or some shit.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
he's doing
some weird shit like that. And people say people were referencing that as dictator shit, like celebrate me, whatever, all that type of shit.
They're doing like military shit, like tanks and shit. They're gonna roll it on a parade and stuff.
And when you're trying to think about it, shit does make sense that Trump is a criminal. Celebrating his birthday, I don't give a fuck, right? Whatever, that's whatever. But he wants to change shit, break the Constitution. He's like, some of that shit gotta be changed. Some of that shit gotta be changed. I want to run again. Remember?
He said that?
Yeah, he wanted to run another 4 years, apparently.
Yeah, but Trump be saying a lot of shit that just to fucking like.
Yeah, but I think we've gone too far now. And it's annoying to me when I hear a president that seems like he's uneducated. You're supposed to be hella educated. And it seems like there's so much conflict within. You know, there's people who don't agree inside. And it's good to see that, like, the governor of California is standing up. But, I mean, it's nice, right? But, like, I mean, how are we going to stop this shit? How does this shit come to an end?
I don't know. There's only two ways. There's only two ways shit comes to an end.
But I also feel like, right, like we have guns for the simple right of protection from tyranny. When are we gonna be able to do that shit, right? If it's the same thing, right? Say that we come to that, it's gonna be civil war shit. Citizens versus the government. The reality is we outnumber them. That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's like
if everybody brought their guns out, I'm not saying we should, right? No, that shit's horrible. It shit would lead to madness and it will be horrible. But I'm just saying, if we can't even peacefully protest? You know how Tupac said, we've been knocking at the door. We're hungry, let us in. And then he's like, we even got creative and started singing, we are hungry, please let us in, huh? And then he's like, you get to a point where you're just like, I'm picking the lock, I'm coming through blasting, because it's like, what else are you gonna do? That makes sense. That makes sense to me when he said that our parents protested, our great-grandparents protested, and she's still the same. So of course shit's gonna be different. So now they're fucking destroying shit because it's like, this didn't work. What are we gonna do? Then that shit all makes sense to me. It's not right. I'm not saying we should destroy shit. We shouldn't destroy shit. I'm not for that. It should be peaceful protest.
It would have to be a crazy thing. The only way, like, I think destruction opens up doors for government violence. The only way we hurt the government is financially. That's the only way the government gives a fuck, is financially. So I think, yeah, breaking shit, that shit does cost money, but it's taxpayer money. But I'm saying, like, if you protest shit where you shut down the economy, you hurt the economy, that shit hurts the government. If everyone who was pro, like anti-deportation, anti-Trump, all that shit, we just didn't go to work forever, everyone, how many people was that?
A fuck ton.
Yeah, that shit would hurt the government, because it's like, you don't go to work for a week, okay, you don't get paid for a week, okay, the government don't collect taxes for a week.
And that's really the truth.
But it's like, not everyone can afford to just say fuck it.
Yeah.
So that's where it sucks. But imagine if they could, then that's how
what we need to figure out.
The government only cares about money.
We need to figure out a way to hurt the government financially.
And then they pay attention.
Legally.
Yeah.
Not illegally. Legally.
Then they would be like,
that's what we need to do. Once these billionaires start losing money, that's when these motherfuckers are going to say, oh shit, we got to figure something out.
Yeah, if we could do some shit like that, then they would be like, let's figure out a plan. Because every time
maybe we're wrong about this.
Because every time you hurt an officer, every time you destroy shit, they take that as an excuse. Oh yeah, look at this. Look what they're doing. Look what they're causing to our community. Shit like that. You shouldn't destroy your community anyways. Fucking breaking into fucking like businesses and breaking shit, lighting cars on fire and shit. That shit, I mean, it gets eyes. If you want to get eyes, that's how you get eyes. But it just hurts more than it helps.
And when I think about it, you're not gonna deport everyone. What's the goal?
They're trying to do 3,000 a day or some shit like that.
Okay, but even if you do that, you're not gonna deport everyone.
How many? So people because
you're not going to deport, that's what I'm saying.
People are still coming in.
But we'll get to that too. But it's like, you're not going to deport everyone. So don't you think you have to come with some type of solution to make some of these people residents? Wouldn't that help? Wouldn't that help the economy?
Yeah, but I think the plan is, I don't think they care about that.
I said shit before, right? If they committed that crime, you're not going to get everyone out, benefit off of them. Give them a fucking fee. Fuck it, give them community service. I don't give a shit. But the fact that there's no path, none, it's just like, hey, go to court and risk that shit. If you lose, you lose. You go back. And the fact that they want to change shit, they could like that if immigrants have a baby, that baby should not have citizenship in the United States. That shit's crazy. That's in the Constitution.
Where the fuck else?
That's what I'm saying. What are they gonna do? Oh, you're Mexican? Mexico's gonna be like, he wasn't born here, bro. He's not from here. So then, what are you? Nomad or what? What does that mean? So what does that mean? Where do you go? They're gonna throw you in the fucking river or something? Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's dumb. But it's because they wanna keep. I think because if you look at the numbers, the Mexicans, everyone minority wise, anybody who comes into this country usually people of color, um, they're having way more kids than any other race. So it's like eventually the population, majority, the minority is going to be the majority, and the whites are going to end up being the minority. And it's weird because like every place I've ever lived, anywhere, it's always been like a like a mix of all races. Every place that we've ever lived in has been a mix of every race, and that's what I think. That's in my head. I thought that's how the world, everywhere you went, that's how it was. And then you go to freaking Grand Blanc, go to freaking these like heavily white populated areas, and it's nothing but white people, and it's weird.
Yeah, to the point where you go into a store and you're the only Mexican in there.
It's hella weird.
And I feel like it's even sometimes, well, not for everybody, but even it's weird for them.
Yeah, because it's like, oh shit.
Oh shit, a brand.
I haven't seen one of those guys before. Hey, fuck. Remember how like I think there's like a white girl that went into Africa or some shit, and somebody like they said a lot of the people there have never seen a white person. I forgot what story it was or documentary I was watching, and they were like, "What the fuck?" They thought it was a ghost. They never seen a white person before. They were like touching them and shit. That's crazy. But it's like when I don't know. I just always thought that freaking everywhere was like this. It's just a combination of a bunch of people. And then come to find out there's certain places normally where there's a lot of wealth. There's just straight brutal white people. A lot of white people.
And that's what makes America tight though. Diversity. You can like there's people everywhere. Of all kinds. Different cultures, different backgrounds. And it's like people are deporting Mexicans, right? That's like I remember you told me if a Mexican got deported and then recorded his process coming back in, that shit would go viral. And somebody did it. And somebody did it, but not in the way you did it, in the way of a TikTok short. And
you just giving updates or what?
Yeah, so he got deported and he said, thank you, Trump, for the vacation. And he tagged them. Damn. He tagged them, right? And he's shown, well, I mean, you can't really tell. Could this be fake? Maybe. But just by the looks of it, right? If it's true, it's pretty crazy. Well, he said he's in Mexico and he's having a drink, whatever. And then later on, he's like on my way back. And then he's at the border, right? He's at the border. You don't see a lot. You just see like, you could just see enough to where he's at the border. And then you see him with a place with a big American flag. And I don't know where that is, New York or I don't know where that is, Chicago, I don't know. And he's like that. He's like that. And then what was he doing? And then then you could see like his changing clothing, got his clothes back, and he's all good. And he's like, thanks for the vacation. Now, like if that's true, like you could face some serious penalties. Yeah, what do you mean?
Because you said it's a misdemeanor.
Yeah, but I think it's a misdemeanor for when you do shit once, right? But if you do it twice, is it still a misdemeanor?
No, it might be a felony.
But does that apply to everything?
Yeah, because I think they say.
So if you steal once, it's to
No, I don't think it applies to everything, but I do.
Certain things.
I have heard that if you get caught and deported once, they'll deport you the first time, and then the second time, if they've already deported you, you go to jail or some shit like that. So it's like I'm not sure if it's like strikes. And after one, it's over. So if they catch you again, it's jail time. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It'd just be nice to just have some type of fucking system. Like I understand, make it money. No, I mean the criminals do have money too, though. But you'd have to vet the fuck out of them.
Trump already did that shit, the $5 million shit.
Yeah, but that's crazy amount of money.
That's what I'm saying. But still, that's for the rich. Then, like, once again, the rich get it.
It's the payment plan. I want some payment plan. Give me a payment plan.
But I think like I just feel like when you look at, even when it comes to DACA, right? They should have been had their shit. It should have been. And it's like, I don't know why people are so fucking stressed over that shit. Just give them residency. If you're really that fucking, I don't know if people understand the difference. Like, you can't vote. If that's really what people want, right? These really racist people, they're like, whatever. Even not even racist, right? People who are just really worried. Just give them residency. That means they can stay. You have to have residency. No more of this permission to work bullshit. I was gonna say just leave it at that. Nah, that's not right. Give them residency. They should be able to leave the country and come back. And a lot of these people went to school, like have no criminal background.
I know it's like
It makes no sense.
hella benefit for the country.
That's what's crazy, right? If the people who have been here, who have work permits, still don't have citizenship, you think the homies in Mexico are gonna get it? And then they wonder why motherfuckers are crossing the border.
Yeah, people. I understand. I understand that we have borders for a reason. I understand that criminals come in and their whole intention is to do bad shit. I understand that, and every Mexican who is of good morals and backgrounds feels the same way. If they're doing stupid shit, if they're doing bad shit, yeah, deport them, take them to jail, do whatever the fuck you want, rape them, do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Right.
Who nobody cares.
And two, like I'm not like you said, like strong borders. Okay, I'm for that. I'm not saying we should let everyone in, right? Because everybody that's coming in doesn't have good intentions, right? But that's what you make the border strong. After you do that, whether it's, I don't even know if the solution is a wall. That shit's old school. Motherfuckers ain't using walls anymore. But you make the border secure, and then you figure out somehow, some way to allow people to come in. Now, what that way is, and what the right way is, and what the requirements that they need, whether it be a college diploma or whatever, okay, but make it a way that's achievable. Make it somewhere that somebody can come from poverty and make it.
But if they do that, right? If let's say they make it easier, the influx of people who come in is going to increase by a lot. If they make it easy enough for that the average person can come, that means everybody would come.
But that's what I'm saying. But we don't know what that process will be. You're assuming that they're just going to come in here and automatically get granted you can live here. It can be a visa thing. You get a visa for 6 months or 3 months, and then you get a work permit, meaning you can't live here. You can live here only temporarily while you're working. Boom. And then after years of trust and whatever, but you're already in, right? You get to come in, you get to make money, help people out, do whatever you got to do. And after you've been vetted and seen, oh, this guy's a good person, whatever, he hasn't had any trouble, no criminal history. He's been in the U.S. for 8-10 years now.
Yeah, even if you got to have an ankle bracelet.
8-10 years?
Know exactly where the fuck you are at 24/7. Even if you got to give them freaking.
But I don't think we should treat people in that manner though, because that seems like guilty before proven innocent.
Yeah, but I think the thing that the American people want is to ensure 100% that these people that are coming in are going to benefit the U.S. financially. And if you're willing, any person any Mexican will be willing to do that, to come in for a better life. People who are coming in here to actually just work.
But it's just because, like, I know we're going to extreme routes just so you can let us in, but I don't think that should happen. Like I told you, it's not our job to create a way. It's not. There's somebody getting paid for this shit, and they don't have nothing. They're not doing shit. It's their job. All we're saying is there should be a way. Like, so somebody can get a visa and come in here, work for a little bit, whatever, and throughout time build enough reputation. So they're like, okay, you can be a resident. You can hear. And then after a certain amount of time, then you can get citizenship. Something like that. They don't have to be immediately a resident. I'm saying gain entry. Motherfuckers can't gain entry at all. They can't come over here and get a Mountain Dew. They can't come over here and get none of that shit. That's all I'm saying. Because if you don't, guess what are people going to do? They're going to come here by force. So doesn't it make sense to make money off that shit? Visas, you'll make plenty of money. People want to come in. And they're going to come in regardless. You have the numbers. They always say, oh, look how many people crossed in, bullshit. You should be like, look at the money we're missing out on. That's what the billionaires should be thinking and shit. But they're too dumb. They already got too much money and shit. But that's a missed opportunity.
People would be willing to pay though.
People would be willing to pay, even if it's a payment plan.
Even if they're not allowed.
You're so poor, but you got a job over here. You already have a guaranteed job from your cousin Pablo, he works here, he's a U.S. citizen, and whatever will vouch for you. And you're already saying you have a job. Okay, we'll bring you over here and you owe us. So you can pay off the visa fees, all that bullshit. Right? That shit will make America look great. America is really what it says it is. You know, it's not so bad. They're out here looking out for people, for their neighbors. That would make America look good. But I think that America is already diverse and would have conflict within each other. Like you said, people want, yeah, get them out, right? Shoot them, run them over. But I think people say that because it's not your mom. Ask somebody, hey, if somebody came in and took your mom, what are you going to do? I'll kill them, right? Yeah, but your mom committed a crime 30 years ago. So now she's going to fucking El Salvador. We're all the criminals. Because she committed a crime 30 years ago. What are you going to do? If it comes to if you say the same shit to them, they'll change their mind. When it's affecting them, it's easy to say something when you're from a distance and you have no idea. Yeah, and you're just going off what these people are telling you.
A lot of times, though, you can't. The argument doesn't help. Even that when you try to make it reasonable, when you want to have a conversation with reason, this shit does not matter. And so it's like, why even try? Sometimes it's like it's a waste of time, and it's just a headache, and it just pisses you off when it's like I am just telling. I'm just giving you the info, and they're like hard. They're like hard headed. They just don't. They just nope. That's wrong. I don't care. This, that. There's no.
And it's crazy because it's like the president does what he wants, right? What if there was a voting system for every major play? Just like we vote for the president, there were like mass deportations. What if there was a vote for that?
You think it would have passed?
No.
It would have been close.
Because even people who supported Trump disagree with this shit. But it's too late. You voted for him. And it's not like he didn't warn us. He said that shit from the jump. With his homie, they were like, we're going to be the biggest fucking deportation ever.
Yeah.
And it's like if they were just deporting like criminals,
nobody would even care.
It would be different. I wouldn't be standing here defending a fucking gang member who sells drugs and is poisoning the community. But when you're fucking deporting Pablo, who works every day and shit, like it just makes no sense. People got a real hatred for Mexicans. They got a real hatred. Not all of us. There's a lot of great people. I met a lot of great people in America. Not everybody's racist. There's more good than bad, but there's some people. I don't know. At least it looks that way, right? But who knows what that heart sings, really? But there's a lot of people who really hate. Who would be like, speak fucking English.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get it, right? But it's like, why are you so mad, huh? Like,
I know.
Why are you so mad?
I think people who are pissed, majority of people who hate Mexicans are people who are not happy with their lives.
Yeah, it seems like something is up with them.
Yeah, they're like
somebody always wants somebody else to suffer because they're
not doing too good.
Yeah, some shit.
It's
like
that. why is it that your life is better than mine, or like why should you get anything easy?
Yeah,
like fuck that.
I'm suffering, huh?
Yeah, you need to suffer.
But it's because a lot of these people are not educated. They think that some people think that Mexicans are getting Social Security and shit and getting all that shit and they can retire.
That's because they believe that,
that
shit. They read a little fucking post on Facebook and they're like, yeah, do you know that these motherfuckers don't pay no taxes? Yeah, they don't get no checks. They get straight cash.
Yeah.
They take 401. They get Social Security. And they get Medicare.
Yeah. And I understand. I understand because they're not in it. So how can they know, right? They're going off, but if you're gonna be so passionate about something, you would think you would look into it.
That's too much work.
That's all I'm saying. But if you're gonna be fucking out here in the streets, pick up a microphone and be so angry, you would think you would know what you're angry about.
Yeah, they read one sentence, and one sentence was good enough to trigger.
Like
Fuck
if I don't know, I'm not just gonna fucking go on here and say, yeah, get all these guys out. If I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And even then I don't like I would have based it off a moral basis. Right? Because it's like, oh, are they really that bad? Or whatever, let's look into it. Whatever. Oh yeah, they are bad. They're fucking gang members or whatever. But it's like it's not like that.
Yeah, I seen a video of a mother in New York. There's a mom and a kid, a little girl, and they're walking, and the police were chasing like a bunch of immigrants or Mexicans or whatever, and they thought she was one of them that was running from them, so they tackled her and they took her in, and she was with her kid. They were shopping or whatever, and the girl's a citizen. She was the mother was she wasn't born here originally, but I think she's been here long enough that she turned into a citizen, and the kid was a citizen. And
There
they took her.
There should be severe punishment for that.
They took her because they said that she was part of the people who were running.
You can't run though.
But she wasn't even part of the people who were running from the ICE.
Even if she did, that's not an excuse. People can't run.
Not if you're getting chased by the police.
You can run. You didn't do nothing wrong. Why can't I run?
Because
I want a job.
People, I don't know. There's no thing that says you can't run, but
that's the whole shit of
everyone who runs for the police normally runs for a reason. Normally.
But if I've committed no crime and a cop tells me to stop and I choose to run,
I think they'll find something to charge you with.
Stop is not a legal order though. It's not a lawful order, I mean. If I committed a crime, yeah, or if he's like, hey, I'm investigating or some shit.
Yeah, but how
detained?
Yeah, but how can he say anything to you when you just took off running?
That's fine. That's how it is. It's not our jobs as citizens to make the police jobs easier. You should already know. Before I pull up this motherfucker, let me make sure he is who I think he is. And oh yeah, I have something on him. Oh yeah, he is a criminal. So it don't matter. When you run, I already know you're a criminal. I can chase your ass. I know you got a warrant. I'm not just gonna, he's running. Fuck it, let's tackle him. Because if ICE arrests a citizen, there should be severe punishment for that shit. What that punishment looks like, I don't know. But how is that? They can't be like, our fault.
Yeah, and release you and that's it. Nah, it should be you're allowed to spank them.
Nah, we gotta take some money. Money's what hurts the most to everybody.
The lady said she was gonna sue.
Yeah.
She was like, don't worry. She was telling him, don't worry, call, whatever. She's gonna sue and she's gonna get some money.
That's what I'm saying.
Because you're out here just shopping and then you get tackled. You get tackled by a police officer, and then they don't want to hear you out about nothing. They just straight cuff your ass and put you in the car. They don't give a fuck about what you. She's like, what I do? I didn't even do nothing.
That's crazy though. That's Nazi Germany type shit. When I think of that, I think of what's that movie? Inglourious Bastards, where they're just going in there yanking motherfuckers out their house. Is it that movie?
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. Nazis. And that's crazy. And it feels like it's true. History repeats itself. Same shit over and over again. And the dude said one thing that stood up that made hella sense to me. He's like, of course, Mexicans have to go against the law to prove their point. And he said if Rosa Parks didn't stand up, right, she wouldn't have got that shit.
What happened to her?
As far as what?
Like she didn't get no punishment?
I'm not sure what happened to her.
Because I forgot what. I know that's like, I should remember this shit that I'm telling you, but I just remember her not getting up. And then like, I don't know if she was forcefully moved. And that's what caused the people not to ride the bus no more. I don't know, but.
You have to be able to stand up and say, I don't fuck with this. Regardless if it's a law. Because just because it's a law doesn't mean it's right. So when something is we feel is fucked up, as citizens, we have the right to stand up and say, fuck this shit. That's the reality. That's how I feel. Well, when I think about it. Like, we're in a time of history right now.
How's it end though? Murder.
We're in a time of
Murder.
history right now. That's gonna be written in the books. Unless they try to hide that shit like all our history.
There's too much internet now. Can't hide everything.
Thank you for listening to the AB podcast. You can follow us in the links below. All our social medias are linked there. If you want to buy some merch, the merch that we're usually wearing in the podcast, you can buy it as well. The link will be below.